But modern agricultural practices is no. We can force feed them. We can make them bigger. We can make them greater production they can get. But at what expense? Yeah. They start feeding it with a chemical fertilizer, which has a lot of sodium, kills a lot of our good, healthy components, our soil and our worms. And so now they no longer have that. Then it's like the dog food in the room with water. You don't have the essence of life. So they get sick. And so I said, no, you should go back to square one and not try to reinvent the world. Because yeah, you may extend the production a couple 100 pounds per square footage, but in doing that, you're killing off the microorganisms that is actually beneficial for the plants. I'll give you an example with tissue culture. I have a lady friend up at the Alliance Arboretum. Her name is Nellie Sudi. And one of her co-workers called me and she goes, Uncle Jerry, big problem. Our taro cultivars in tissue culture, they're not rooting. So I asked them, well, you know, it's really simple. They're using Kuroshige's formula of hormones in a gel, and they cut the apical. You guys know what TC is? Tissue culture? Okay, tissue culture in a taro, they'll take that small apical breeding where it just starts to life forms in that taro. In a sterile condition, they'll take it and put it in this gel, which is made out of goat hormones. They'll cut a small piece of it in a very sterile environment. You won't have all the contamination on the hands in it. And this is the stuff they put in a gel, in a flask. And it will root and it will multiply babies. There's plenty of babies. That's the intention of the tissue culture. Well, when I asked them about replication, because this is what they're doing, they're replicating all of this little bitty babies that come out from here. What is the replication redundancy factor? When you take it from that plant and you put it in the flask, you develop it up, then you take it out and you put it back in the ground. The life cycle of a taro plant normally is about, say, a year. Some go a little over a year, and some as fast as 6 months, depending on the variety. A lot of diversification there, yeah. And so, when she puts it in a flask and saves it, all of this plants here, from this one, when do they take it back out into the field and regrow it? And she said, well, some of those we've had for over 40 years. I said, oh, no, you don't understand. You take it, put it in a flask, you develop it, you give it out, you distribute it, then you put it back in the ground, right? You grow it out, and you take it back and you cut it, same thing I just did. And she goes, well, 10 years? I said, there's your problem. In that 10 years, it's been sitting in the flask, it has adapted. Yeah. It doesn't need roots. It'll take it intravenously, right from the gel, goes right into the flesh. So no roots is necessary. So now you're wondering, why is it when you put it out in the field, because it doesn't root, it dies. It doesn't, this here needs to go back into the soil, in the environment, to relearn. It's like a child walking. It needs to learn to absorb, learn to adapt with the environment. That's how it builds its immune system. It lost its ability when you keep it in the flask for 10, 5 years. It's lost its ability. So, you know, it's really hard to tell a scientist, because she doesn't want to plant it out in the field because she's afraid she's going to lose the cultivar she's had for over 40, 60 years that's been handed down. But it's part of the process. You need to learn each variety and put it back.